What's up guys, my name is Michael and today I'm talking about why I love the iPhone XR. So in this video I have 5 reasons why I love this phone and why you might actually want to pick up an iPhone XR instead of an iPhone XS or XS Max. Some of these reasons are actually better than those phones and you can actually save some money in the process if you decide to go for the XR. So let's go ahead, jump in and get started. So first up is the display size. So the display size on the iPhone XR is 6.1 inches from corner to corner. So for me, this is the perfect size on an iPhone. I feel the iPhone XS Max is a little bit too big. Whenever I'm holding it with one hand, I find it very hard to reach all the way up to control center. And that kind of is true with the iPhone XR, but since it's a little bit shorter than the iPhone XS Max, it does make it a little bit easier to reach up to the top right and pull down control center. Now, I do have very large hands. I know that. As you can see, my hands kind of trump this phone, but it is a little bit of a stretch to pull down control center, but I know for most people it's even harder on the iPhone XS Max. So this display size is perfect, and the iPhone XS is actually smaller than this phone, and the one reason I like this phone better than the iPhone XS with its smaller 5.8-inch display is typing. Typing on this phone is a lot better because the display is wider. Now, it might only be a few millimeters wider, but when you're typing on an iPhone display and you need that accuracy with your thumbs, those extra millimeters on the display when you're typing definitely make a difference. So this iPhone display size is right in the middle of the iPhone XS Max and the iPhone XS, and I think it is perfect for most people. And in fact, that's actually what Apple said when they released this phone. They did a whole bunch of research and found that the size 6.1 inches is going to appeal to a lot of people. It is a bigger display size than the iPhone 8 Plus, but it's in a similar form factor where it's more similar to the iPhone 8. So I think it's a perfect size, and it honestly is one of the reasons why you should look at getting this phone instead of the iPhone XS Max or XS. XS is a little bit too small, XS Max is a bit too big. For me, the XR is just right. So that's the first one. Display size is perfect on the iPhone XR. Number 2 is fantastic battery life. So this phone has an unbelievable battery life. I don't know how this iPhone lasts as long as it does. I was using my iPhone XS Max the other day, and at the end of the day, I had about 25 to 30% battery remaining. And I didn't change my usage patterns day to day, and I switched over to the iPhone XR, doing about the same things on my iPhone as my iPhone XS Max the previous day. I ended the day on my iPhone XR at about 50%. So that extra gain in battery life could get you an extra hour and a half or 2 hours of usage on your iPhone, which really does matter. So usually around this point in the day, it's around 1:30 in the afternoon. On my iPhone XS Max, I would expect my battery to be somewhere around 65 to 70%. But here, if we check control center, you can see I'm at 87% on my iPhone XR, and I haven't even changed up my usage patterns, and I haven't even charged it since I took it off the charger early this morning. So my battery is unbelievable, and the only thing we can attribute that to is the display. So because this display is a bit lower resolution than the iPhone XS and XS Max, that means it has to push less pixels, and the chip, the A12 chip inside the iPhone, has a lot less stress. So the A12 chip is very good at high efficiency tasks, and because the display is a bit lower quality, it is going to give you much better battery life. A common misconception is that LCD displays are usually worse for battery life because they have a backlight, and when the display is on, that backlight has to be turned on at full brightness all the time. That is simply not true because the operating system is pushing more pixels, and because the chip inside the phone is so good at efficiency tasks, you are going to get much better battery life on this phone than an OLED phone from Apple. So if battery life is your main concern, I would definitely go for the iPhone XR instead of the iPhone XS. So number 3 is with the camera. Now, portrait mode on the iPhone XR is actually surprising, and it does have a benefit over the iPhone XS and XS Max. So here, if I jump into photos, as you can see, portrait shots on the iPhone XR look significantly different than the iPhone XS. I'll zoom in here a little bit. As you can see on the iPhone XR, the shot is a lot wider, and if we jump over to the iPhone XS, as you can see, it is zoomed in. So whenever you take a portrait shot on an iPhone XS, it'll tell you to back up up a lot because it's using the telephoto camera and it's super zoomed in. With the iPhone XR though, it's only using one camera, the wide angle camera. And what Apple is doing here is they're doing a lot of computational photography tricks to mask out the background and give it that bokeh effect in the background. And honestly, the effect looks pretty good on the iPhone XR, and it's nice that you actually get more field of view in the image compared to the iPhone XS. So yes, you might not get as good of masking around the object because the iPhone XS has two sensors to work with compared to the iPhone XR's single camera, but it looks like Apple is getting really good at the computational photography game, just like Google is, and they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to really make these photos look nice. So I think the iPhone XR actually has a hand up over the iPhone XS when it comes to portrait mode shots, simply because you get more in your field of view when you take portrait shots. So number 4 is a little bit more fun. It's the colors of the phone. So there actually isn't one color of the iPhone XS that matches the iPhone XR. All the colors are completely different. So on the iPhone XS, you have gold, silver, and space gray. On the iPhone XR, you have red, yellow, blue, coral, black, and white. And the black and white iPhone XRs actually don't look even similar to the iPhone XS. I have the white iPhone XR here. It's a very flat white looking color, and if you look at this silver iPhone XS, I'll throw a picture up on screen now, you can see it's a more pearlescent finish, and the iPhone XR has a more flat white color. I honestly prefer this. It looks a lot better, and it kind of is a little bit of a bonus that when you buy the budget end iPhone, you also get to choose from one of 6 fun colors. I like the look of the black and the white on the XR actually more than the XS. You can tell me in the comments below. It's obviously a personal thing. It's really subjective when it comes to what color you guys prefer on your phone. But for me, I honestly really love the look of the colored iPhones along with the aluminum sides. So as I mentioned there on number 4, I like the color of the iPhone with the aluminum sides. Number 5 actually is the aluminum sides. I sometimes prefer the anodized aluminum on the iPhone XR than the iPhone XS stainless steel. Now, the iPhone XS sometimes gets really grimy in your hand. If you ever hold your phone when your hands are a little bit sweaty or you have some oil on your finger and you look at the side of your iPhone, it's going to have a big fingerprint and there's going to be a lot of grime on your iPhone, especially if you get the silver model. And that really doesn't happen on the iPhone XR. It never really happened on any iPhones until the iPhone X came out because aluminum doesn't really get fingerprints. So the only thing that gets fingerprints on this phone now is the front. I went with the white iPhone because the white doesn't really show fingerprints except around the Apple logo, and the aluminum never shows fingerprints. So whenever you get the iPhone XS, it's a very small thing, but the stainless steel is going to show a lot of grime and fingerprints. And sometimes when you pick it up, it's going to feel kind of sticky and kind of oily and not as premium. Whereas the iPhone XR offers a bit more of a consistent experience with that nice, cool aluminum finish in your hand. So a very small thing. Again, you guys might prefer the feel of stainless steel in your hand, but for me, I prefer how much lighter aluminum is, and I also prefer the texture in my hand. So guys, that's pretty much it. If I missed anything that you guys love about the iPhone XR, tell me in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael, and I'll see you in the next video.